Hello, my name is Brian Kirsch, and what I wanted to talk about today is something that gets a lot of mistakes. Let's talk about the cloud, and let's talk about the services, what it actually is, and why there's so much confusion. So, whenever I ask people, hey, what's the cloud? Everybody's got a different answer. Sure, people in tech have an answer. People that aren't in tech have wildly different answers, and people going into tech have very different answers. Um, I want to be clear about something. The cloud is not storage. Okay, that's a part of it, but where people get confused is they look at the cloud they interact with. Could be iCloud, could be OneDrive, and it's typically storage. So that's why everyone assumes the cloud is just storage. The cloud is something that's quite a bit bigger than that, but storage is a component of it. The cloud is basically somebody else's resource. At the end of the day, I don't care if it's Azure, Microsoft, Oracle, whoever, you're basically renting out someone else's resource. The best example that I use with this is if you travel, you rent a car. You're not buying it, you rent the car for so many dollars per day and you drive it and you return it when you're done. If you want a higher end car or you want an SUV, you pay a certain amount. The cloud is no different. You go to a Microsoft cloud, you go to an Azure cloud, whatever it is, you're paying for that resource. You could be renting out compute resources, which is your CPU or GPUs. You could be renting out storage, give me a couple terabytes for Dropbox or whatever. And you can be renting out, network traffic, bandwidth, something you put in the cloud, you stream down to people. Whatever you choose to utilize, you're paying for. And the thing is, you're paying by month, typical. So, if you're renting out space on AWS or Oracle, you basically give them a credit card and you get billed per month and you get billed on that usage. So it's no different than you having a computer at home, but you're basically utilizing somebody else's. And it runs at large scale. The reason the cloud is popular for that type of infrastructure is it handles spikes and lulls really easily. So if you look at, in the summer, a lot of retailers might not be having a busy season like they would, towards the holiday, towards like the Christmas holiday. So in the summer, you might see more of a demand from places that are doing entertainment like movie theaters or outdoor activities. They may have more utilization of systems than, let's say, the shopping industry. Towards winter, you don't have as many outdoor activities, the tables flip. That's why the cloud kind of has that ebb and flow where sometimes people are giving back resources, sometimes people are utilizing them. Now, when you look at something like iCloud where you're storing your digital pictures or music, what have you, that is typically consumable and it just continues to grow. But hard drives are getting bigger, and so that's kind of the reality to that. The trick to a lot of this is you're paying for it. And whether you're doing this in a company or personal, you're paying a set amount. And it is a monthly revenue income. But the thing is, it's convenient. If you happen to have an Android or an iPhone, you pay for cloud storage, it's available wherever you go, you don't even notice it. Now, are you utilizing petabytes of storage? Probably not. A few hundred gig maybe. So it's more or less affordable, and for Google and Amazon and Microsoft, it's efficient to do. But that's where most people associate it, because most people use Dropbox or iCloud or something like that. So that's why everyone thinks the cloud is just storage. Now, that's kind of the fundamental part of the cloud. There is something additional to that, and what a lot of people use is cloud services. So Microsoft is a great example of this. Office 365 is, your email, your Word, all that stuff. And you basically get it as a cloud service. Again, you pay, 80, I think it's around $80 a month, or not a month, a year, and you get access to that suite of products. Um, that's a cloud service. Basically, Exchange Online or under Azure, that's one of the world's biggest email systems, and a lot of companies use that for email. Other companies use Gmail, and you have your own domain, but you use Gmail to host it. It became cheaper to do it that way in the cloud versus putting on email servers on site. Theoretically, it's better security, and I say theoretically because there's been issues. It should have better uptime and all that stuff than what you can put in locally. Now, for the vendors like a Microsoft, a Google, Oracle, whoever, they love this. And it's not just because you're using their software, it's a continual revenue stream. Whether you're paying by month or year, depending on the level of consumer, that money's always coming in. So if I buy a subscription to Office 365, I'm probably going to keep that till I don't use email anymore, which means every year they get, let's say, $80. You do that times, hundreds of thousands of people or millions of people, and you can see where that money comes in. And that's how these cloud services work. The thing is, they are convenient. Okay, they really are. And yes, there's always free services of different applications out there, but you do get what you pay for. I mean, that's just a reality. So when we talk about the cloud, when you look at it, it is at the end of the day somebody else's resource that you're paying for, and you have to determine what it's worth. A lot of companies use cloud-based apps, PeopleSoft, Blackboard, different software that companies use. It's a web interface, so it's not like a thick client anymore. And basically, you're paying to utilize that service. Is it worth it? Well, you start putting in some of these big systems inside a data center, and it can be prohibitively expensive. Just for all the servers, even if they're virtualized, it can get expensive. And to be honest, a lot of companies don't want to do that anymore. I've seen data centers shrink from what they are, shrink by 70, 80%, because they basically put stuff out in the cloud. That is going to continue. Now, where does that, leave everybody that would do work with it? Well, now you're basically working in the cloud. You might not work on the back end of the stuff. That's more for the cloud engineers at a company like a AWS or Microsoft or what have you. But you have to get your stuff in there and working if you didn't buy it as a service. The trick is, if you buy it as a service, less work to do, but, like an Office thing, but it costs more. So it just kind of depends on what type of cloud environment you're going into, whether it's infrastructure or more of a service model. It's flexibility, but it comes down to the cost. And I use that rental with like a car. You can get a four car sedan. You can get a sports car. Both will get you there. One might be a little bit more fun than the other, but there's a cost difference. And the cloud is no different. And because of that, you have to determine where you're going to be in the cloud for your company and your personal stuff. So that's kind of what the cloud is in a nutshell, a little bit on the costing models, and just to clear up some of that confusion. Again, my name is Brian Kirsch. Thank you for watching.